Uh, to think that these three will soon be united again in Standard. Boy, it's just a matter of time. Funny story actually about this playmat. So I got this as a present from Can You Say G back when I was still living in Japan. Wait, is it dirty? No, never mind, just my camera. So I got this playmat as a gift when I was living in Japan from good old Can You Say G. And the artist, I really like the art. I feel like it's really, really pretty. So I remember on Twitter I shared it and I said that, I tagged the artist and I said the art it's like beautiful and really, really good. And then for some reason they blocked me on Twitter. But anyway, hello, welcome. Speaking of good art, today we're going to take a look at a deck that is famous for great art, which is Silver Thorns. I should probably remove the gift markers. Do you guys also always just like carry a few Axel 1s? Like I just have a couple Axel 1s on me all the time, but then, most Axel decks don't really use those. But hey, today we're going to be taking a look at the good old Luquier, everyone's favorite goth GF, Luquier herself. So this deck got some nice new support in Butterfly the Moonlight, and now we're almost, we're basically almost at the release of the next set, which includes our boy Luard in it, but I wanted to still take a look at this deck because it's better late than never. I also still need to do Blade Master, and luckily I got the new promo, so actually it's a relevant deck list and not something that's gonna get, just not be relevant after a week or so. So yeah, let's take a look at my Luquier list. This is one that I built and have been testing for a fair bit, but it's mostly been my fun deck compared to my Night Rose deck, which is a bit more of a competitive one, a bit of a try-hard pants deck, but this one is definitely more on the fun side, but still very, very fun. So we are playing, of course, 4 of the brand new Venus Luquier. So Venus Luquier is the, technically 3rd form of Luquier that ever came out, but there's no reverse happening in the V series, and therefore Luquier reverse is also not happening. But now that Chaos, now that Chaos is coming to Standard, maybe they'll print reverses in those sets too. That'd be pretty cool. I wouldn't mind Luquier reverse coming out as another card for Pale Moon, but that'd be pretty cool. So Venus Luquier has 2 skills. First one is, during your turn, if all of your front row rearguard circles are occupied, then your front row units get plus 5k power. So this of course includes her as well. It doesn't say rearguards, it says units. And then her second skill, which is the one that makes her very good, is once per turn, Vanguard circle combos 1 and discard 1. And then you can call any number of Silver Thorns within their card names from your soul to your front row rearguard circles. And at the end of that turn, if you have 4 more rearguards, you put all of your rearguards into your soul to get an additional Axel. So you generate about 2 Axels per turn. So unfortunately, this deck, Silver Thorns, did win Worlds. I mean, that's not an unfortunate thing, that's a fortunate thing. But unfortunately, because of that, Dorian got hit to 1, and so Silver Thorns needed a way to put their rears back into the soul and draw cards. And while they didn't give us a direct card draw, they at least gave us, the ability to get another Axel. And if you gain an Axel 2, you do get an extra draw out of it. So drawing less, but it's combos 1 instead of 2, therefore you can't get damage denied as much, and therefore you can use the skill more reliably and more often, in case the game goes long, which it definitely does not in Modern Standard. But anyway, of course, in cases where we set up a nice soul early and also have 2 Counterblast, going to the old Luquier is still perfectly fine. So she's also an amazing rearguard because she has her first skill, which says Vanguard in rearguard circle. I'm trying to put this in the center. If you have called 2 or more cards from your soul this turn, she gets plus 10k power, so 22k attacker. Very nice. 27 if she's attacking with with Venus Luquier on Vanguard Circle, and she's 25 otherwise from her own second skill. Her second skill being counterblast 2 once per turn, Vanguard Circle act, and discard a card. So counterblast 2 and discard a card. And then you can call any number of Soul Thorns from your soul to your rearguard circles, and then all your front row rearguards get plus 3k power. So this time the Vanguard does not get power, but she powers up herself on her own, whereas for Venus she has to basically power up from her first skill, whereas this one powers up from her first skill too, but it's a bit different. It's a bit different in that sense. But anyway, of course, our grade 3s are rounded out with the 1 Dorian, so she's restricted to 1, but she's still an amazing card. And sometimes, from my playtesting, you can basically just search it with Lillian, because you're probably going to be just doing counterblast 1 for Venus. So especially if your opponent rushes you, or you're playing against something that's just like swinging with crits really early, you're probably going to have 3 damage on by the time you're hitting that turn 3, so you can basically use Lillian to search this in, and then ride the old Luquier and call her out from soul, and then you'll get that once per game use of her pretty reliably. There's no other way to search her, like from the whole deck, but her skill, I haven't even said it, is at the end of your turn, Vanguard Rearguard Circle, you put all of your other rearguards into your soul, and you draw a card for every 2 cards put this way. And then, if you put 4 more cards back from your field into your soul, then you can take a grade 3 Silverthorn from your soul and add it to your hand. So basically, you get to fetch the Luquiers back and rewrite them and get more Axle circles, and then, you know, reuse their effects and stuff. So that's also very, very nice. And of course, drawing for every card you put back is very good. So, you know, when your opponent gives you a lot of counterblasts, you can just go for the classic play of old Luquier and Dorian, and then next turn ride up into Venus and start, you know, just generating more Axles. So that's also perfectly fine. And then, speaking of new cards though, we have our first, well, second new card technically, but first grade 2 that is new, which is the Silvia. And I liked how she reads as Silvia in Japanese. But anyway, Silvia is really good. I think she's amazing in both standard and premium. Her skill is when placed on Vanguard Rearguard Circle, counterblast 1, and choose up to 2 cards of Silver Thorn in their card names not named Silvia from your soul and call them to Rearguard Circles. So this is obviously a great way because Luquier, Venus Luquier only calls to front row rearguard circles. You have to, for example, like call this out to a front row and then use your skill to call out 2 back rows. So that'll help you do that. But she's also good in premium to basically do like, you know, just push out new columns, new units, and abuse like the starter, for example, Happiness Collector and stuff like that. There's a lot of stuff you can do with this card. And in like basically you can ride this card sometimes, and like for example if you wrote up a Romy or something, you can just like call it back out and like fill up your soul early game really quickly, which is pretty good. I've been playing this deck a lot and I felt that was pretty good. Then I already talked about her a little bit, but we have Lillian. Lillian's good. She has a first skill, when placed from hand, counterblast 1, when placed on Vanguard or Rearguard Circle, and then you can search your deck for any Silver Thorn and put into your soul and shuffle your deck. So this is counterblast 1, which, you know, leads to you being damage denied if a good player chooses to damage deny you, but chances are they'll give you 1 damage, so then later on you can still just ride Venus Luquier. If they still give you the 2, then you can ride normal Luquier and call out that Dorian that you soul charged most likely. So yeah, this is good to fetch your pieces, and therefore, you know, you can just not necessarily just search Dorian, you can search anything. But her second skill is also really good. When she attacks the Vanguard, if you have 4 more different Silver Thorns in your soul, then she gets plus 10k. So she's a 19k beater, 24 on Venus Luquier without XL, 29 with XL, and she's also 27 on regular gear turn, or 22 depending if she's on XL or not counting any boosters. So that's also very good. And finally, you know, basically filling the same role as our previous unit, which is the Rising Dragon. So he just gains plus 10k if you have called 2 or more cards from your soul this turn. So obviously a great effect, just good to have a lot of beaters. Then for grade 1s, it's pretty straightforward, but does include some new stuff, which we start off with for Arena. Arena has 2 skills. Rearguard Circle, when placed from hand, look at the top 2 cards of your deck, put 1 into your soul, 1 into the bottom of your deck. So lets you set up your soul and also set up your bottom of the deck stack. And looks kind of in focus, kind of not. I guess you can kind of read it, but yeah, so she helps us to stack the bottom of our deck, which we can still do pretty reliably, although games don't last as long anymore. But, you know, still, it's a win con that you can abuse and you should still make use of. And then her second skill is kind of her main use. When you ride on her, so first you have to ride her, and then when you ride a grade 2 on top of her, you get to look at the top 3 cards of your deck, and then you soul charge any number of Silver Thorns from among them, and, you know, put them into your soul, and then put the rest on the bottom of your deck in any order. And if you soul charge 2 or more cards from this skill, you get to draw an extra card. So usually you're going to hit this because basically the entire deck outside of a few triggers is indeed Silver Thorns, and you want to put those triggers to the bottom anyway, so of course that is quite nice. And now, you know, just for our favorite card slap counter, 1, 2, 3. These cards are quite bent, unfortunately, because I don't know why, but of all my Silverthorn cards, it's the Romies that are most bent. Maybe it's because like when I use the skill, I'll go like Romy skill, and then tap, and then I slide it in the soul, like you know, I still like tap it in sometimes, so it depends. But usually like I do the slide. But anyway, Romy went down to 3. I used to play this as a 4 of, but now I'd rather search her, and in general I just don't have space for more. As you can see, this is literally one of our last cards, and in order to play the other cards that I have in here, I have to play 3. But you can call her back out pretty regularly now with Silvia, so you can still abuse her. Her skill is you rest her and put her into the soul, and then you basically get to look at the top 3 cards of your deck, put any number of Silver Thorns from among them into your soul, and the rest on the bottom of your deck in any order. So this is good to make your, not only fill up your soul quickly, but also basically make a stack at the bottom of your deck full of like front triggers and stuff. So this card you basically like to use plenty of times, put them into the soul, and then use either the old Luquier to call them out, or use the new Venus Luquier to call out a Silvia, and then call 2 of these out, and then use them again, put them back in the soul, and keep soul charging and stacking your bottom deck that way. I like that win con. I think that's what made Silverthorns very fun, is that it could be very aggressive and advantage heavy while also playing mini Tsukuyomi. Then we have our new grade 1, which I'm playing 3 of, which is the Linea. So at first I wasn't too impressed with her, but then from testing I was like, damn, this girl is actually really good. When she boosts her attacks, she soul charges 1 and gains 5k. So this is also in Vanguard Circle, so meaning if you ride her instead of the arena, this is still a soul charge, which is pretty good for that early soul charge gain. And then on top of that, you know, being able to not only just like have her every single turn to give you extra soul charges is very, very nice, but it helps you reach your stack a bit faster. And on top of that, you can also just basically, if you want to, you can use her with the Breathing Dragon to multiple soul charge, but you're probably not going to be doing that. But she's pretty good. The fact she gains 5k is also like really, really free. So this whole skill is super free. You get power and you get a soul charge, and that lets you hit for huge attacks. You know, you're already hitting for big attacks in this deck, and this is just making it even better. And finally, I'm playing 2 of the Breathing Dragons. So again, cut down on copies. This card can definitely be abused a bit more now because Venus Luquier is a cheaper cost, but you do still counterblast 1 for Silvia sometimes. So yeah, this card is still very good. End of the battle, it attacked, it boosted. If your soul has 4 or more different Silver Thorns in their names, you can counterblast 1 and put the rearguard that it boosted into the soul, but it has to be a Silver Thorn, and then you call any Silver Thorn from your rearguard, from your soul into your rearguard circle. So you basically, you know, let's say you attack like this, use the skill, put this into the soul, and call something else out, you know. So basically, you know, not those units, that's not optimal, but you know, that's just how it works. So it's very, very straightforward, just gives you multiple attacks, and that's very, very nice. And then, of course, triggers. We're playing 4 draw PGs. No crit sentinels in this because we don't really run crits in general, and you definitely do need the PGs because you don't make as much hand advantage as you used to in the past, and fronts are really good in this. So 4 heals, of course, that's always going to be great. And then for fronts, I'm playing 2 of the Hoop Magician, 2 of the Sky High Walker, and finally it ends on 4 of the Silverthorn Serge. So he's also very, very good. And of course, finally to finish up, we're running the Silverthorn starter because that is also a potential cull target for our Silverthorn effects. So, you know, 8 fronts is very straightforward. We're playing 2-2 split just to throw our opponent off a little bit, making him thinking we play more than 8, but generally we don't. But yeah, so this deck is very, very cool, very, very strong. And generally, I'm just a huge fan of Luquier as a whole, as a character, I guess, and you know, her decks are usually very, very fun. They're pretty straightforward, so if you want to get into Pale Moon, this is a really good way to do it. The deck really, it's not very complicated to play, there's nothing super convoluted. You know, if you find Harry a little bit difficult, then this will be a really good entry point into Pale Moon if you want to get into it. But yeah, it's a fun, this is like my fun side deck. It can be competitive for sure. I don't think it's like a dead deck or anything compared to, you know, Harry or something. I think it's still very, very strong and can definitely win you locals if you have locals going on. But if you want to just run with this deck and, you know, have fun with it, definitely give it a try. But yeah, so on that note, that's going to be it for me today. Hope you guys enjoyed today's Luquier deck profile. Next one will probably be Blade Master with a promo. I'm not building anything from VBT10, but I'll still open a box if my shop gets it on time. But then we'll probably meet again when it comes to Victor, or maybe I'll do like a full Bronto one early. We'll see. So as you guys know, I only really do deck profiles of decks that I really, really love. But anyway, on that note, I hope you guys enjoyed today's video, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.